Bliss and the Secret of Making Strain Dissolve. By SeanMels. We struggle during our lifetime, we struggle a lot. Life is an uphill, windy, rough path, most will affirm. We even want to see struggle around us, to find comfort in thinking that we're not alone in this. We notice the beetle on its back, flapping its legs in vain as it fights to flip around and be on its way. We pity our grandfather as we see him struggling to cover a small distance, taking small trembling steps toward his destination. We see the tiny flower, struggling to rise through the small cracks of a thick cement slab on the sidewalk. If we suffer, and the beetle suffers, perhaps the divine also faces dead ends and feels agony and despair. Maybe suffering and mourning are universal, pain reaches us all. Some people will admit that the divine doesn't feel strain or the need to endure and hold on. Still, they will probably consider its might to be the source of its freedom, which is wrong. While our following deduction may startle most, the secret of divine freedom comes neither from infinite wisdom, nor infinite power. It all spurs from ignorance, from not knowing. That's the source of both the wisdom and the might the one holds. If you've read Ascent, it might be easier to appreciate and follow the thoughts shared here. Ascent is rough around the edges, but it's an honest attempt at explaining the truth about reality and the divine. Long story short, we're trying to stand on the shoulders of giants, hoping to take a better look at the horizon ahead while high. We do this because we want to start with a simple, yet imperative principle Socrates shares, a truth we love to mock and ignore. Wisdom is knowing how little we know. The divine is in a state of bliss, it is everywhere, and everything. Before we move on, and with most urging to stop us in our tracks over our silly claims, it would be wise to agree on something basic. The Western image of God, as a white-bearded guy, is an anachronistic one that fails to capture and portray divine grace. The divine isn't tall or short, and doesn't have a beard to shave, or the need to shave it. It is formless and ever-present, nameless and almighty, the Alpha and the Omega. The divine is the prison and the prisoner. It is the troubled and the troublemaker. That's why the concept of struggle, just like all and any concept, eludes it. It doesn't even know what strain or suffering is. When you're everyone, and everything, who can be your torturer or jail guard? Who may be your enemy? God sees and knows no foe, no obstacle, and no strain. Perhaps ignorance is bliss. We scoff at ignorance though. We're usually aware of a few things, and pretend to know even more. Ignorance is for the silly, uneducated fools, and our ego turns into a hurdle, once again. We even see people unaware of a subject or notion, trying their best to sound relevant and informed, while mostly spitting nonsense. Being brave enough to admit that we do not know, is both a small and a huge step to take, if we ever want to witness divine grace. We then realize that struggle and suffering are nothing but phantoms, invisible to God's perception. Knowledge isn't wisdom. Wisdom is being aware that the zebra and the lioness are one. Wisdom is knowing that the same stairs taking us high may also take us down, and that's fine. There's a lot to learn when going down. By going down, for example, we may discover that since God doesn't have to struggle, nature also doesn't feel the need to, and mankind is free not to face it either. The beetle doesn't start praying or cursing when flipped and unable to move. The tiny flower, although appearing to struggle, can effortlessly pierce through concrete, to rise and face the life-giving sun. In the same vein, the old man, if wise, may be able to see his fragile body for what it truly is. Human bodies, just as all in any matter, are temporary and fleeting, like smoke or a whirl in water. The true power found within Grandpa though, and within us all, is unfathomable. The divine within doesn't feel cold, face panic, fear, or discomfort. It is almighty and knows all, simply by not knowing anything at all. This sounds, without a doubt, like a huge contradiction and will likely make brows rise, but in reality, it's quite simple to follow. The divine knows the exact position of every drop of water in our galaxy, but this never is an assortment of data. The knowing of the one isn't a collection of coordinates, speed vectors, pressure, or height metrics. Numbers and letters cannot describe divine wisdom, whether we like it or not. All the ways we can count, measure, and grasp things, are nothing more than a mutual agreement. An agreement formed between beings in search of a tool to help them communicate, understand, and interpret the world around them. It's important to see that although we all agree on what a centimeter is, we should also admit that a unit can only point to something. It is crucial to realize that the centimeter is nothing on its own, it's just a concept, a ghost. Some may nod in agreement, and admit that they got to seek and read more about it, but this can only lead in the opposite direction. For the divine mind, there is no such thing as information, it doesn't need it and doesn't know a thing about it. Knowing is a thing on its own, just like enlightenment. It can only be an experience, not just words in a book taught in a school class, or an instruction manual to buy or borrow. That also means that the code we use, and the standards we've set to measure and gather the information needed, are flawed. They cannot and never will successfully define, or describe what reality is. Instinctive wisdom, no one knows how to beat a heart, but we all do it anyways. The procedures and mechanisms at work, when opening or closing our palms, could fill an entire library of books. We just do it. When asked a question, the enlightened woman doesn't take a moment to think of a proper answer. The wise man doesn't bother searching for the right words, when needed to describe a glorious vista. He knows words can't do it, and is aware that they will ultimately fail. Such an idea tends to sadden or anger people that feel at home in the world of sentences and arguments. People that want to talk about it extensively, people in need of a few more opinions. Those who want to think it over or do some research about it all. What does such a course of action offer to them? Nothing. Perhaps a sense of security, since they're holding familiar turf, swimming in a warm, welcoming sea of numbers and letters. They're sticking to their guns trying to feel secure, but this offers nothing more. Trying to describe what a sunset is, to a man born with no sight, will be a failure. We shouldn't ignore the fact that we're using words too, the means we consider inadequate, to prove our point. Therefore, we inevitably put ourselves in a big pinch. It is the ultimate obstacle, this, and any book trying to convey the truth would love to overcome. People reading this will almost instinctively consider the thoughts shared here to be mambo jumbo, a bunch of nonsense. Something like talking extensively about a topic, without saying anything at all. While their reaction is mostly a human defense mechanism, against the truth or a radical perspective, their input shouldn't be ignored. They're right in their assumption, since language can indeed only be gibberish. No matter what we say, or how we convey it. They ultimately help us prove our point, although they'll never openly admit it. The elephant in the room, though, is the question that follows. Why would you hold the truth, and not me? Are you smarter, better than I? The wise woman is wise, simply because she can see through such a question. You hold the truth too. We all are. We simply do not want to see it. Who cares if this book fails? After all, it is nothing more than a byproduct of the world of shadows and decay. Confusing and confused. It's no accident that one of the deepest philosophy books starts with these words. Those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know. Tao Te Ching. Trying to use a flawed tool and expecting it to yield adequate results isn't, sadly, just our silly choice of action. It also is the only one we have. Maybe that's why we see wise teachers unwilling to instruct, and profound masters never writing down their own elaborate books or simple thoughts. Deep inside, they know their writings or preaching will offer nothing, for they're just a collection of symbols arranged to serve a point of view. We cannot read or hear reality. It is, as stated, an experience covering the entire spectrum of human senses. The divine is a grand soloist on her piano, joyfully playing the best melody we'll ever hear. She doesn't need to check her hands hitting the right keys, and her music sheet is nothing but a white piece of paper. No struggle for the divine, no struggle for the Beatle or the old man. When we're aware of the ultimate truth, the strain fades away. By being formless, the one takes any imaginable shape. By being empty, it contains all. By being ignorant, it knows everything. It is perfectly fine to find the message shared here to be frivolous, unworthy of offering our thoughts, or even holding it in our heads. The wise one, though, may see what Lao Tzu thought when opting to write his book. The true messenger knows all about an essential principle we could examine in another lesson. She also knows that it doesn't matter if the truths shared will be sneered at or ignored, such action won't change a thing. If we consider man-made concepts and labels to be hurdles in our quest to witness reality, then maybe our unknowing ancestors were closer to the divine. While people of old were not as knowledgeable as we are today, many will admit that they were wiser. We shouldn't, at any point, demonize concepts and numbers though. As stated, they're nothing but tools made for a specific reason. There's no use in blaming, getting overjoyed, or angry at them. Yet, we shouldn't let them push us around. They're there to serve, not to be served. The same goes for the concepts we love or love to hate. Concepts expressed through words like money, time, gender, politics, and emotions. Use and explore them? Definitely. Let them define and boss us around? Definitely not. If our assumption is solid, there should be a point in the past when people's minds were free from man-made concepts. Such a mind would instantly be in union with God. Once more, standing on the shoulders of giants, let's try the Bible. If you've read Ascent, you already know that the forbidden fruit story is full of clues and hidden messages. Adam and Eve lived in paradise, having everything they ever wanted. They were living in bliss and ultimate unity with the divine. Paradise. Eat that fruit, said God, and you will certainly die. Death though isn't the divine punishment we usually think of when reading Genesis. What God meant is that by eating the forbidden fruit, they would be able, for the first time, to experience death. Why? It's easy to see why, since this was no ordinary fruit, for it would only grow on a specific tree found in paradise. The tree of knowledge, of good and evil.